بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت السميع العليم. اللهم نور بصائرنا وفقهنا في دينك. Begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send prayers and salutations upon our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, alayhi salatu wassalam. Welcome to the second last session of this course. Inshallah, next week will be the last lecture we will have for this course, and inshallah we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us and to enlighten us, bi'idhnillah. Inshallah, one thing to mention, we will have the quiz for the course next week, inshallah. So at the end of the session for next week, whatever we take on next week, inshallah, it's not going to be included in the quiz. So up to until whatever we take today, that will be included in the quiz, inshallah azza wa jal. Because the following week will be the Eid al-Adha, so we'll definitely, inshallah, stop on that next week, inshallah. So today, inshallah, we'll begin by the sujood. Today is the August 19th, and before we also begin, anyone who will be away next week, August 26th, for the quiz, they can email the center, Brother or Sheikh Uthman. The center's email is info@alimancenter.com. To just send an email, let them know that you want to do the quiz, inshallah, and a copy will be sent to you so you can complete, and then you email it back to the center for marking. Inshallah, certificates will be issued for those who will pass the quiz, inshallah. Also, the previous lectures are available on YouTube and Facebook at Al-Iman Center with this name. So during the lecture, inshallah, as usual, if you have a question, raise your hands and we will answer it as we go through. For the ones who are watching us live right now, or the sisters, they can text us on this number, 604-262-6375. Again, 604-262-6375, inshallah, and then we will answer each question as it arrives. You have been given two papers separate from the book. The first one is the as we mentioned before, the 3 pages. You have these are called the supplications, the opening supplications, Dua ul-Istiftah, which we already covered, I believe in the second or third lecture. 3 pages. So these are the different Dua al-Istiftahs that you can memorize and say them in your salah, at the beginning of the salah. We mentioned the most famous one is the second one, which is Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik wa tabarak ismuk wa ta'ala jidduk wa la ilaha ghayruk. This is the most common one that people use today. So these are the different forms of Dua al-Istiftah that you can memorize, and inshallah to say it after making the takbirat al-ihram, after saying Allahu Akbar, and it is the sunnah. Okay. The third page is, of course, the last segment. It has also the ruku' is included. This is just because it was taking a part of a book which is called The Fortress of the Muslim, Hisn al-Muslim. So you can also kind of like memorize these dua and say them in your ruku'. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhanak Allahumma Rabbana wa bihamdik, Allahumma aghfirli, Subbuhun Quddusun Rabbul Malaikati wa Ruh. You can use those, inshallah, in the ruku'. The second document which you have been given are the conditions, the pillars, and the requirements of the prayer. A lot of people have been asking us different questions. So is this considered to be a pillar? Is this considered to be a wajib? Is this considered to be a condition? What is a condition and whatnot? So this document outlines everything in details. Now, you don't have to memorize this, but it's good to familiarize yourself with it, to get to know them. So what is a pillar? What is a condition? So just quickly, we mentioned that conditions are things which should be done or must be done before the salah. It's just shart, as they say in Arabic. A shart is something that comes before the act of ibadah. So for example, some of the shurut or the conditions, it mentions here there are 9 conditions. The first one is Islam, to be a Muslim. Why? Because salah is not accepted from a non-Muslim. He has to be a Muslim first, then pray their salah. Okay. The fifth, sorry, the sixth, covering the awrah. Awrah must be covered before you begin the salah. Okay, a person must cover their awrah before they begin their salah. The fourth point, lack of ritual impurity, meaning to perform ablution or wudu. Person who does not perform wudu, their salah is not accepted. So all of these conditions must be met before the salah, facing the qibla, having the intention and whatnot. The next segment is the pillars of the prayer. The pillars of the prayer are 14, and they're mentioned here. Okay, the opening takbir, standing if you're able to, the bowing, making ruku', getting up from ruku', sujood, all of these are considered to be pillars. The next is the requirements or the wajibat of the salah. Okay, you might get a copy from this brother here. Yeah. Yes. So we mentioned the requirements or the wajibat for the salah are 8. Making all the takbirat, saying the Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, saying Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Sami Allahu liman hamida, and whatnot. And we mentioned a pillar is something that is, if it's not done forgetfully or intentionally, the salah is invalid and must be repeated. Okay? So regardless if it's been missed unintentionally or forgetfully, salah is invalid. The requirements, however, or the wajibat, if a person forgets them, then they have to perform 2 sajda sahu at the end of the prayer. Okay, sujood is-sahu, as they say. It's to be made at the end of the salah. If the person intentionally skips a wajib, then their salah is invalid. So the only difference between the pillars and the requirements or the wajibat is that if a person forgets that particular action of the salah. Okay, in the pillars it's a must. If he forgets, whether he forgets or not, salah is not accepted. The wajibat, if he forgets, then he performs 2 sajdat sahwa at the end of the salah. And of course, if it's intentionally, the salah is invalid. And this is mentioned in the last paragraph in the paper. Yes, brother. Yes, yeah, mashallah, good question. The brother is asking about the sujood is-sahu. How can you perform it if you think during the salah that you missed a rak'ah or you made a rak'ah? Are you in the 3rd one or 4th one? When this happens to the person, it does happen to people. Person can be and it's not focused or something. Shaitan can come and make him remember different things outside of salah, and then they will forget. In this case, a person who would if they're not sure if they're in the 3rd or 4th rak'ah, then they assume that they're in the 3rd rak'ah. Okay, and then they complete their salah, and then at the end they pray 2 rak'ah. They pray 2 sajda sahu at the end of the salah. Okay, and then they complete their salah. Okay. طيب. Any questions before we begin the? Yeah. Okay, yeah, the brother is asking if you're praying alone, should you start with the iqamah or you can start right away? We say it's preferred that you start with the iqamah. Okay, in case if you're in a place or at least in a masjid, maybe a person knows that you're going to pray fard salah, not a nawafil. So in this case, they will know that you're praying a fard, so they will join you. So it's better to make the iqamah. Yeah. However, it's not something a condition. So if you forget it or if you chose not to make iqamah, then your salah is still accepted, inshallah. Still valid. Yes, also at home, it's better to also make the iqamah at home. So even the people inside the house, they know that you're praying, so they can join you as well. No. Okay, good question, inshallah. But we're on the segment on our book, the sujood and the prostration. Okay, everyone has that, which is the 86th point. طيب. The sujood, the prostration, then he says Allahu Akbar, Allah is greater, and this is an obligation. Okay, and he should raise his hands sometimes. The next segment, placing the hands first when prostrating. Okay, now let me read the point and then I'm gonna get to the explanation. Then he prostrates, placing his hands upon the ground before his knees. This is what Allah's Messenger ﷺ commanded, and it is what is established from his practice. He also forbade the people from kneeling down in the manner that the camel kneels, and the camel places its knees, which are its four legs first. Okay, now there are differences of opinions between the scholars, okay, about this particular issue of salah. When making sujood, should you place your hands on the ground first, or should you place your knees on the ground first? Okay, now the majority of the scholars say they're on the opinion that you can put your knees down first before your hands. Okay, now Imam rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'a al-Albani says that he quoted the hadith which he mentioned, that Rasulullah forbade the people from placing their knees first because they shouldn't be imitating the camel, al-ba'ir. Okay, now his understanding of the hadith is that particular action. Now some of the other scholars, what they have said, the camel has four legs, okay, so two at the front, two at the back. Okay, the two at the front, okay, are considered to be hands, according to the ones who are on the opinion of Imam Albani rahimahullah. Hence they say the ba'ir kneels down on his first hands first. I mean, meaning the two front legs. You shouldn't be doing that because you're going to be imitating the ba'ir. The other ones, on the other opinion, they say no. We consider the back 2 feet. We consider the two at the back are considered to be feet. Okay, therefore they're considered to be legs, and they have knees. So if you place your hands first, or if you place your knees first, you're not imitating the ba'ir, the camel. That's what they say. So each one of them had a different understanding of this particular hadith which Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned. Okay, so according to that, what you need to know for this course is that the opinion of Imam Albani rahimahullah, what is it? Is that he goes on the opinion that hands should be placed on the ground first. That's what you need to know. Okay, if you chose the other opinion of putting the knees down first, that's also correct, inshallah. Okay, and if you choose his opinion, placing the hands first, that's also correct, and that's inshallah also valid. Okay, is this clear, inshallah? Fine. The next point, so when he prostrates, it's a pillar. He should rest upon his palms and extend them together. He should keep his fingers straight forward and close, and point them towards the qibla, the direction of the salah. And he should place his palms level with his shoulders, and sometimes he places them level with his ears. So when you place your hands on the ground, make the fingers straight facing the qibla, okay, and sometimes close to the ears, level with your ears, and sometimes close to the shoulders. Both are correct. Something to add here with the next point: and he must lift his elbows away from the ground. This is obligatory. He is not allowed to spread them on the ground in the manner of the dog, okay, because the dog places the elbows on the ground, so you shouldn't be imitating the dog. The elbows should be lifted. It's also mentioned or reported by Rasulullah ﷺ that sometimes he would spread his elbows wide to the point that the people who are praying behind him, they can clearly see the color of his armpits. Okay, alayhi salatu wassalam. Because before they used to only have the garment of the ihram, only 2 pieces of cloth. That's what their dress at that time used to be. Okay, so they would place something on their shoulders, so when they make sujood and raise their elbows from the ground, you can clearly see the hands and the armpits. Okay, so that's also another way that you can make sujood as well. The next point, he must place his nose and his forehead firmly upon the ground. This is a pillar. Okay, this must be clear. When we say the nose and the forehead, that means both of them must be touching the ground. Some people, what they do is they place the forehead and not the nose. This is not accepted. Okay, In sujood, a proper sujood involves touching the ground with the forehead and the nose, both of them together. Okay? Just as a side note, some people, what they do, they place something on the ground and then they make sujood on it. Okay, like a rock or a piece of cloth or whatever. This is not from Sunnah and this is not accepted. Unless if you want to place a prayer mat, a full prayer mat, that's fine. Okay, but like Rasulullah ﷺ says, وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The earth beneath us was made a place of sujood, and it's pure as well. So a person can make tayammum on their floor and they can make sujood on the floor, okay, without having to place something to make sujood on. Type. The next point. He must also place his knees firmly on the ground, okay, and likewise his toes. His feet should be placed upright on the ground. All of these are obligatory. The feet, when we say the toes, so let's pretend that these are the toes, my fingers are toes, and they should be placed facing the Qibla. Okay, so both of them are together, okay, while making sujood, and they are facing, the toes are facing the Qibla. The tips of his toes should be pointed towards the Qibla, the direction of the prayer, and his heels should be joined together. So the backbones should be joined together while making sujood. Some people, they open their legs wide. No, this is not right. What's correct, the form that is correct, is that both feet should be together, toes are facing the Qibla, and backbones are touching. Okay? طيب. Any questions so far? Yes. Yes, yeah, the brother's asking if you're wearing a cap or something. Yes, so if you're wearing a cap or anything that prevents your forehead from touching the ground, it should be removed. Okay? SubhanAllah, this even applies to the sister. Sisters in Salah, they're not allowed to cover their faces. The face should be uncovered as well as the hands. So if she's wearing a niqab, she must uncover the niqab and make sure that the face is clear in the Salah so that she can also make sujood on her forehead. Yeah. Okay? Any other questions? Type. The next segment, being settled in prostration, in sujood. We are in the 101 point. Okay. It is obligatory that he is settled in his prostration, the sujood. This comes about by his resting equally on each of the parts of the body that touch the ground when prostrating. These are, make sure you have a highlighter or a pen to underline these. These are the forehead and the nose together. That's one. The two palms, meaning the two hands, the two knees, and the toes of each foot. Okay? So if you count them, they should be 7. The forehead and the nose are considered to be 1. The two palms, meaning the two hands, that's 2. We have 3 now. The two knees, that's 5. And the toes of each foot, that's 7. Okay? So make sure you write that number. 7 parts of the body must be touching the ground while making sujood. The next point. So whoever settles in his prostration in this matter, then he has certainly attained the stillness necessary. This stillness, itmi'nan in the prostration, is also a pillar. Okay? Itmi'nan. The next point, he should say in it, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la 3 times or more. Okay? So the first, in ruku' we say Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. In sujood we say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. It is recommended to supplicate to Allah as much as possible while in prostration, since it is a time most suitable for the acceptance of the supplications. Okay? قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه وهو ساجد فأكثر من الدعاء. Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said that the closest the slave of Allah Azza wa Jal close to him is while he's in a state of sujood. So increase from the dua to Allah Azza wa Jal on that state. Okay? Increase the dua. Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulub thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh Allah, the one who flips the heart, keep my heart firm and sit fast on the religion. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you Jannah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from hellfire. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect you from the punishment of the grave, and so on and so forth. Make it a habit. Okay, for every sajda that you can. طيب. He should make his prostration about as long as his bowing, as has preceded. Okay. It is allowed to prostrate upon the earth or upon something placed upon the ground, such as a garment, carpet, mat, and like. Okay, so as we mentioned, something that, like the carpet we have, that's fine. طيب. It is not allowed to recite the Quran in prostration. It is not allowed to recite Quran in prostration. We mentioned this before. What if there's an ayah that contains a dua? What should you do if you want to quote that ayah or that dua, let's say, in your sujood? What should you do? We mentioned this before. Yes. So you kind of change that ayah a little bit so that it can you can quote it as dua. For example, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. That's an ayah in Quran, a verse in Quran. We change it, we can add اللهم رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Or you can say ربي آتني في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. You know, that's an ayah in Quran. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم ربنا. So kind of change the ayah a little bit so you can quote it as a dua in your sujood. No, yes. What's that, sorry? Oh, yes. The brother is asking about if there's a particular dua for sujood al-tilawa, right? Yeah, to sujood al-tilawa, which is mentioned in the Quran. There is a specific dua that you can look it up. You can print it and hand it, inshallah. You can also say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. It's also accepted, inshallah. Sujood al-tilawa is سجد وجهي للذي فطره وشق سمعه وبصره بحوله وقوته فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين اللهم تقبلها مني كما تقبلتها من عبدك داود. Okay, we can inshallah write it down and we can print it inshallah بإذن الله. However, you can find it in the book Fortress of the Muslim. Okay, the Fortress of the Muslim, they contains this full dua and the meaning of the dua as well. طيب. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Now, the brother is asking if you can, let's say some people don't know the Arabic, so can they say the dua in a different language other than Arabic in sujood, while in sujood? Of course, first and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all the languages, He understands all the languages and whatnot. However, because salah is muta'abbad, yani we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this salah. So it is not something that is recommended to bring something to salah which is not part of it. Okay, so we recommend that a person should try to memorize these du'as from the Quran or from hadith, which are common, and then they can use it. Outside of salah, they can raise their hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whatever language that they know to Allah azza wa jal. Okay? Yeah, good question. The next segment, sitting upon the left foot laid flat, which is called al-iftirash, and sitting upon the raised heels, al-iq'a, in between the two prostrations. Then he raises up his head, saying the takbir, Allahu Akbar. This is an obligation. He raises his hands at this point sometimes. Then he sits with calmness, such that every bone settles in its place. This is a pillar. He should lay his left foot flat beneath him and sit upon it. So the first thing is that your foot, you sit on it basically, and the foot is hanging on the side. And sit upon it. This is an obligation. He sits his right foot upright upon the ground. So you can see that the left foot is going under you, and then the right foot is going to the other side. Okay, yeah, the brothers, if you can come close here, the brother can see you. Yeah. So the left foot, he's sitting on it, and then the right foot all the way to the side. Yes, this is the correct form. So you're sitting on the left one, and the one on the right is sitting upright. That's for just between the two sajda. Between the two sajda. And the first tashahhud. Yes. So this form applies between every two sajda prostrations and on the first tashahhud. This form which the brother did. طيب. He should make the toes of his right foot point towards the qibla, the direction of the salah. So just like in when sitting down, making sujood. It is also permissible to sit upon the heels al-iqa'a sometimes. He does this by sitting upon his heels, both feet upright. Can you do this? Which is the sitting on both feet together. Yeah. So like this is the second form you can do between the two sujood. Okay, so you made the first sajda, and then the second sajda, 2 feet are together facing the qibla. The toes are facing the qibla. Okay, jazakallah khair. Yeah, so one like this, and this is the other type. Yeah, jazakallah khair. طيب. طيب, the next thing he says in his setting, Allahumma ghfir li warhamni wajburni warfa'ni wa'afini warzuqni. Okay, this is one form. The second form, which is the shorter and easier, Rabbi ghfir li, Rabbi ghfir li. Okay, so sometimes if you memorize both, you can say this one time and you can say this the other time. Rabbi ghfir li, or the other one, Allahumma ghfir li warhamni wajburni warfa'ni wa'afini warzuqni. Okay. طيب. And he should prolong this sitting until it becomes of similar length to his prostration. Yeah, so the same length as the sujood is the sitting. The second prostration. Then he says Allahu Akbar. Look at mashallah Imam al-Albani rahimahullah. He goes every step of the way during the salah. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do that. Everything goes in a chronological order. And he raises his hands with this takbir sometimes. And he performs the second prostration, second sujood, and this is a pillar also. So for every one rak'ah, there's 2 sajda. He does in the second sujood that which he did in the first. So same thing. Sitting at rest, jalsatul istiraha. Jalsatul istiraha, let's read this first. So when he raises his head up from the second sujood and he intends to get up to perform the second rak'ah, then he says Allahu Akbar. This is an obligation. And he raises his hands sometimes. And he briefly sits upright, sitting upon his left foot, such that every bone returns to its place before standing. Okay. Now, this is mentioned also in the Sunnah, however, towards the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was getting old, basically. So Jalsat al-Istiraha, okay, it's not something that is part of Salah, meaning it's a requirement or an obligation. So that if you get up from your second sujood straight up standing, your salah is also correct. If you chose to do the jalsat al-istiraha, meaning to get up from sajda and then sit for a few minutes briefly, and then a few seconds briefly and then get up, that's also fine. Perhaps the reason also behind this jalsat al-istiraha is that sometimes the Prophet of Allah, many times the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would make his sujood long. Okay, it could be for half an hour. Just one sajda, half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, okay, especially in Qiyam al-Layl or Salat al-Layl. So, as you can see, while making sujood, the blood goes in the brain, and so it's not healthy to get up from sujood immediately standing. The heart goes beeping and the person can faint. It can sometimes cause to faint. So, this is jalsa, comes in handy at that point, that a person just gets up from sujood till all the blood reflows in the body, and then they get up standing. Okay, because subhanallah, even when you're sleeping, and let's say you got up from sleep, you've been sleeping, let's say, for 8 hours. While sleeping, you're not doing any physical emotions or anything like that, motions. So the heart pumps the blood into the body in a very slow motion. If you try to get up from sleep, wake up, and then get up from your bed and start running, that will cause the heart to beat faster, to catch up, because now all these parts of your body needs the blood to flow quickly to it. And hence, you're going to see some flies and whatnot with your eyes, and you might faint. Okay, so it's recommended that after you get up from sleep, just take a few seconds, say the dua after you get up from the sleep. الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. and whatnot, and then slowly get up. So this Jalsatul Istiraha comes in handy. If you do it, alhamdulillah. If you don't do it, that's fine. Also, one thing that Imam Al-Albani rahimahullah did not mention: when getting up from sujood, the second rak'ah. So let's say you were sitting down for tahiyatullah, tashahhud. How should you place your hand to get up? Should you place your hands like this, or should you make a fist? Same thing. Towards the end of the life of Rasulullah ﷺ, he used to make two fists, and then he would stand against them to get up to the third rak'ah. Okay, so the reason, one sheikh, he mentioned that because Rasulullah ﷺ was aging, and for those who are elderly, they can use this to kind of like support them to get up from the ground. طيب, the next segment, the second unit of the prayer, the second rak'ah. Then he gets up, supporting himself upon the ground with his fists clenched, like one who clenches his fists when kneading dough. So he stands up for the second rak'ah, and this is a pillar. He does in the second rak'ah the same as he did in the first, except that he does not recite the opening supplication, Dua al-Istiftah. Common sense. He should make the second rak'ah shorter than the first rak'ah. Okay, recommended. So far, any questions? طيب, sitting for the declaration of faith, tashahhud. So when he finishes the second rak'ah, he sits to perform the tashahhud. This is obligatory. And he sits upon the left foot laid flat, as preceded with regard to the sitting between the two prostrations. So just like the brother illustrated, not the one with the 2 feet together, no, laying the left foot, sitting on it, and making the right foot standing upright. Yes, so however, it is not allowed to sit upon the 2 heels for this sitting. Okay, we mentioned this sitting on his heels only between the 2 sajdas. It is not allowed for him to sit whilst resting upon his hand, especially the left hand in salah, in the tashahhud. There is a reason for this. The reason is that there is a hadith. It's mentioned that a person who does this, sits this in this particular situation, it is the exact sitting of the people of hellfire. Okay, resting on their left hand, meaning sitting down on the ground, and then kneeling on the left hand. This is the sitting of the people of hellfire. So it is warned. Okay, so that's why it's not recommended, or it's not allowed for a person to sit in this position. طيب. Any questions so far? طيب. Yeah. No, generally, but especially in tahiyyat, it is not allowed. Yes. Okay. So actually, when a person is sitting with that, he should place his both hands on his lap. Okay, it's recommended to place both hands on the lap. طيب. We'll take the last segment. Agitating the forefinger and fixing one side upon it. He should clench all the fingers of his right hand, placing his thumb onto his middle finger sometimes. Okay, so this is the right hand, clenching all the fingers, placing the thumb on the middle finger, and keeping the index finger upright. Okay, so just like this position, everyone can see. Yeah, this is one way. At other times, he may make a circle with his thumb and middle finger together. So like this. So this is the middle finger, this is the thumb, making a circle. So just like this, everyone can see. Yeah. So the first way is to place the thumb on the middle finger, keep the index one sticking out, and making a circle with the thumb and the middle finger. Both ways are correct. He should point his forefinger, which is the index finger, towards the Qibla. Okay, he should fix his gaze upon his forefinger. This is a sunnah, to focus or gaze towards the index finger. Not always, but sometimes. Okay, Rasulullah ﷺ used to do that. Right. And he should agitate it, making supplication with it from the start to the end of the tashahhud. Okay, agitating it, meaning to lift it and put it down. The reason is because there is a hadith, it's mentioned that هي أشد على الشيطان من الحديد. It is so strong, this motion itself is so strong on shaitan than the iron. So as if he's being hit by that finger. Just like when he's hit by an iron. Okay, so it is something that can be practiced during Salah. Slow is fine, yeah. Slow is fine as well, yeah. And it doesn't matter how many times or anything. Yes, brother. The brother is asking, do you do it for the whole time that you're in that position? Yes, you can do that, yeah. You can do it at the beginning or towards the end or during during the duration of the tashahhud is also fine, yeah. Inshallah. Making a circle, yes. Some brothers are making a circle. No. It's not part of sunnah. The sunnah is that agitate it up and down. That's what's recommended. Yeah. No. He should not point with his left forefinger. Okay. He should not point with his left forefinger. So it has to be the right, not the left. Right. The next page. He does all of this in every tashahhud. Okay, so that the first and the second tashahhud. Okay, fine. Just a quick question before we move on to the next segment. When does it happen? Which salah, or if you can also explain the situation where you do 3 tashahhuds in one salah? Yes, Salat al-Maghrib, mashallah. How is the situation? So explain it. When do you do 3 tashahhuds? When does that happen? If you come on the second rak'ah, okay. So you would pray with the imam and catch with him the first tashahhud, and then he will. That would be, of course, that tashahhud is not counted for you. It will be counted for the imam, and then you would catch the second tashahhud of the imam. And then you would conclude your salah and make the third tashahhud. This is $1 million question. In case of you being asked that, yeah. Inshallah. I'm sorry? No. So meaning you behind the imam. As soon as the imam says "Assalamu alaikum," you get up for to complete your salah. Okay, yeah. So you would say Allahu Akbar. The brother's asking, so you just say Allahu Akbar and get up for that third rak'ah. Yeah. All right. Like I said, I mean, you can use your hand, yeah, by saying Allahu Akbar, but you're not making takbirat al-ihram here. You're just saying the takbir, which is part of the salah, just completing your salah. Okay. So yeah, it becomes 3. That's the only situation that happens. 3 tashahhuds. Also, let's finish this segment and then we'll mention this as well. The tashahhud, the wording for the tashahhud and the supplication after it. The tashahhud is obligatory. If he forgets it, then he should perform 2 rak'ah, 2 extra prostrations, sujood al-sahw, forgetfulness at the end of the prayer. The wording is as follows: At-tahiyyatu lillahi was-salawatu wat-tayyibat. Assalamu ala al-nabi or assalamu alayka ayyuha al-nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi as-salihin. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. This is the first tashahhud. You can read the transliteration and the translation as well. That's to be said in the first tashahhud. The second tashahhud: Allahumma salli ala Muhammad وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. There is a shorter form if you flip the page. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. حميد مجيد. So both of them are correct. The first tashahhud, you say the first dua. The second tashahhud, when you conclude your salah, you say both in this same order. At-tahiyyat first, and then the Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad second. The thing I was going to mention, let's say you came the same scenario, Salat al-Maghrib, and you have 3 tashahhuds. Okay, which tashahhud should you say in every tashahhud? Yani the wording of that tashahhud, tahiyyatulillah. Okay, so you caught the first tashahhud with the imam. Which tashahhud should you say from these two? The first one, yes. طيب, the second tashahhud with the imam. Which one should you say? First one, excellent. And then your last tashahhud, you say both. Okay, so because you're a masbuq. If you're with the imam, you follow the imam. But if let's say you missed a rak'ah or something, then when it comes to saying tashahhud, the first one, for you, you say the tahiyyatu lillah. The second one, you say the Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Now one last, yes. Yes. Yes, so yeah, that's what I'm referring to. The brother is asking the same question. So if you catch the imam with the last rak'ah, okay, his second tashahhud, or sorry, his last tashahhud would be your first tashahhud. So therefore you say the tahiyyatu lillah only, not the salat al-ibrahimiyya, because for you that would be the first one. And then when you conclude your salah, you say both. One thing also I wanted to mention with regards to salat al-ibrahimiyya, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Some people ask, can I say Allahumma salli ala sayyidina or Allahumma salli ala nabiyyina Muhammad? Okay, the correct form which was narrated by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be said during salah for the tashahhud is this form that you have. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, without adding sayyidina, without adding our prophet nabiyina. Yes, he is sayyidina and he's our prophet, okay, but you can say this after the salah when making dua or making salat al-ibrahimiyya. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala ali nabiyyina Muhammad. Add as much as you can, but during salah this is what's narrated and this is what should be said during salah. So those two tashahhuds are for you to memorize. Okay, if you haven't memorized them, memorize them so that you can say the tashahhud in your salah bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. The last point he says, then he may choose in this tashahhud any of the reported supplications that please him, and supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that. Yes, after you finish both du'as, tahiyyatullah and Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, that time between you finish the tahiyyatulillah, the salat al-ibrahimiyya, and you make the taslim, it's a time of making dua. Okay, just like when you make sujood. Sujood, dua is accepted. Also that particular time is also a time of making dua. There is a very famous dua that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to always say in that particular position. Who can tell us what that dua is? Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasana, that's something that's concerned. But there is a specific dua that Rasulullah always, not a single salah except that he says it. That's in sujood, yeah, that's in sujood, but in that particular position. And that's the dua, subhanAllah, in fact that dua is its only place is in that particular part of the salah. Not quite. طيب, I'll give you a hint. Rasulullah used to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from 4 things. Yes. نعم. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وأعوذ بك من فتنة المحيا والممات وأعوذ بك من عذاب اللهم إني أعوذ بك من فتنة المسيح الدجال. نعم. He used to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from 4 things. نعم. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم من فتنة المحيا والممات ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال. Yes. So always the Rasul. I know if you don't say it, salah is still valid, still accepted. Don't worry about it. Okay, but it's a sunnah to memorize it and to say it. There is also a dua that Rasulullah taught to one of his Sahaba. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husn ibadatik. Oh Allah, help me, guide me in helping me and assist me in worshipping you and completing my ibadah. This dua can be said either before taslim or after taslim. Both are correct. طيب. The next segment, inshallah, we will take that next week. Bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. We finished this week. So like I said, for those who came late, the quiz will be next week after the halaqah or the lecture. everything that we took from the beginning of the course until today is included in the quiz, meaning we will have the rest of the salah covered, but it will not be part of the quiz. Is this clear, inshallah? Okay, so anyone has any questions, whether it be with regards to the course or the quiz or anything? Inshallah, the quiz will be easy, don't worry. Maybe 5, 6 it will all be multiple choice, no written parts. Okay, multiple, just like last year, just multiple choice. Inshallah, I shouldn't say easy questions, but inshallah, if you read your materials, inshallah, it should be easy. I'm not gonna ask you about the pillars or the conditions or requirements. Don't worry. I'm not gonna say is this considered to be a pillar or condition. Don't worry, it's not gonna be asked, inshallah. Okay, it's closed book. It's closed book for now. However, yes, it's good. It's good thing that you mentioned. The ones who are watching us on YouTube live, of course, they're not gonna be with us, so they're gonna be emailed the questions. So for them, it will be open book, but their questions will be different than your questions. Okay, just to be fair. Okay, because you don't want someone to say, "Hey, oh, I'm not gonna be here, so I'm just gonna do the quiz online." So that's the thing, inshallah. Yeah. So anyone has any questions with regards to what we covered so far? Yes. Yeah. You're traveling, sorry? You're traveling for 14 days. Yes. 14 days. The brother's asking, he's going to be traveling for 14 days. Would that be, should he pray his salah complete or should he make qasr? We say from the time you leave from here till you reach to the destination of the, are you going to be in one place for 14 days or are you going to, yes, so from the time you leave Vancouver, let's say from here, to get to that city, you're going to be considered a traveler. Therefore, all the rulings of a traveler applies to you, combining the salah, shortening them and whatnot, and making the masih on the khuffain for 3 days if you happen to travel for 3 days. Once you land, then you become a resident and you complete your salah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Good question. Any other questions, inshallah? Yes. No. The brothers asking the dua that Rasulullah used to always say after the tashahhud and the Salat al-Ibrahimiyya, should it be in order or should be, you can mix it? It is better if you say it in order. It's better when you memorize it to say it in order. But if you mix it, it's fine, because even the dua itself is sunnah. Yeah, it's a sunnah. Yeah, to seek refuge in Allah from these 4 things. Now, yeah. Sure. Yes, yeah. So he covers this now but I'm gonna mention it now, inshallah. The brother's asking, in the second tashahhud, how should you sit? The crossing the feet, or there's a specific way that you can sit. The first one, the brother, which he did the sitting on the left foot and putting the right up, sitting it upright. That's the main thing. Some of the scholars said you can do this for all the tashahhuds. Okay, including tashahhud al-fajr, tashahhud for salat al-dhuhr and asr and whatnot. The second form, which inshallah we will show next week, it should be done when a salah has 4 units, 4 rak'ahs. So in the second last tashahhud, when the salah is 4 rak'ahs, salat al-dhuhr, salat al-asr, and salat al-isha. Okay, and that has its own way, inshallah we're going to mention it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good question. طيب, any other questions, inshallah? Yeah. Just ask, no problem. Yeah. Can you repeat the question again? Mm. Mm-hmm. يعني تصلي مثلا مع الإمام متأخر. Okay, let me correct me if I'm mistaking the understanding this question. So if you're praying Dhuhr, okay, and it's almost time of Asr, so you're praying, making sitting for tashahhud. You're saying, okay, for the second or third or last tashahhud. Both of them. Yeah, you can sit it on the same way that we mentioned, putting the sitting on the left foot and putting the right one upright, or you can do the second form, which we will mention next week for this both tashahuds. Yeah. No, yeah, this is not narrated. No, yeah, putting the sitting on the right and putting the left one. Yeah, yeah, it's not narrated in all salahs. In all salahs, in all tashahuds, you would sit on the left, not the right. Yeah, you would sit on the left. Yeah, but the good thing that you mentioned this. How can a woman sit for the tashahhud, whether it be the first or second? The first one, as we mentioned, she can sit on the left. It is also for the second tashahhud for her to put both feet on the side. Okay, to place both feet on the side and just sit on both of them. This is what's narrated for the women. Yeah, something to be mentioned. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Whether it be the first one or the second one as well. Yeah, that's for her. Yeah, inshallah, for the women. طيب. Any other questions before we conclude for tonight? طيب. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. Assalamu alaikum.